In this next example, find 6 trig functions of theta if theta is in standard position and the point P, negative 15.8, is on its terminal side. So remember, when an angle is in standard position, it has its vertex at the origin. It has its initial side on the positive x-axis. And then what we're going to do is we're going to need to graph the point negative 15.8. You don't need to count all the way to negative 15 and 8. You can just approximate it on a graph. So negative 15 is the x value. That means you're going to go left. 15, 8 is the y value. That means you're going to go up 8. And then you're going to make a point there. So that is the point P. And they're saying that that lies on the terminal side of the angle. Now they want us to find the angle theta, and theta is this angle. Now if you notice that that theta is not part of a right triangle, but every time you graph theta on a graph, it can create a right triangle. So the right triangle it creates is actually over here. If you drop an altitude straight down from the point that you made, then you've got a right triangle here where you've got the terminal side, you've got the altitude, and then you've got the horizontal x there. And this makes a right triangle. Now that right triangle, and we're going to refer to this as our angle. Let's call it phi. Phi is theta's reference angle, which we'll talk about later. But when we're finding the 6 trig functions, we've got the height of this triangle, you can see, is 8. It goes up 8. The horizontal distance is negative 15. And that's because of that point. It's negative because it's going left. It's on the negative x-axis. And if I do Pythagorean Theorem, I can get my hypotenuse. So 8 squared plus negative 15 squared equals c squared. So if we do that, we're going to get the square, we're going to get 289. Square root of that is 17. So I get 17 for the hypotenuse. And now we use the red triangle to find the 6 trig functions of theta. So sine of theta is the opposite. An opposite of the, now theta and phi give you the same trig functions. So you're looking at this angle here as your reference. So opposite of that is 8. The hypotenuse is 17. Cosine would be adjacent over hypotenuse, so the negative 15 over the 17. And tangent is the opposite, which is 8 over the adjacent, negative 15. Then you're just going to find the reciprocal of each of those. So cosecant, 17 over 8. Secant is cosine flipped, so 17 over negative 15. And cotangent is negative 15 over 8. So those are your 6 trig functions.